Hey, gang. I've got some Raven's Tail news for you. And for all you fiction writing fanatics, I'm going to be sharing my one world building trick that I use for fantasy novel writing that I've developed over the years. So, King of the Forgotten Darkness is about a man who has to illegally enter a dark and wild magical world in order to save what's left of its family. Click on the link in the description to learn more. So, the news is that King of the Forgotten Darkness will be getting a couple of reviews on YouTube. And first reviewer who has agreed to take a look at it is Ruth over at Books and Business. Now, Ruth is starting out a new YouTube channel, so by all means, go over there and check out her content. She reviews quite a bit of different kinds of genres, but fantasy is one that she goes back to frequently. She does very thoughtful reviews, and they're not terribly long, so they're very easy to check into, and you can get her opinions on that. Uh, great channel. The other one is Fantasy for the Ages. It's a father-son team, Jim by the name of Jim and Zach, and both of these guys do a lot of really interesting reviews of fantasy genre fiction. So by all means, definitely check those guys out. And last is going to be an interview that I'm going to be doing with José at José's Amazing Worlds. Now, José has done some very in-depth looks at classic and new fantasy fiction, and he's interviewed some famous authors as well. So definitely go check out those. All the links to all these folks are going to be in the description. Now, on to the world building tip. So, as I mentioned this in one of my shorts, but I thought I could get into this a little bit more detail here. As I've been developing the fantasy world for King of the Forgotten Darkness and the other stories that I hope to be able to add to this collection, um, it's been quite a while since I've been working on this, over 20 years at least, and obviously the setting that I built for this is very large, but I don't want to focus that on that because I think a lot of fantasy writers already know how to do that. They know how to make a great big map, and they know how to make thousands of years of history and in-depth complex cultures and all that kind of stuff. Some of them do it better than others, but I don't really think that's the key to really drawing the reader in. I honestly think that has a little bit more to do with the way what you do with it during the storytelling itself. And what I mean by that is sometimes when I'm reading a story, I feel like I'm kind of watching a video game in the sense that the only things that change are things that the POV character stumble upon, and that's it. And outside of their little bubble, a little corner of the world that they're seeing, nothing else is really happening. Some authors get around this by switching viewpoints and jumping around all over the place. But even that isn't quite as effective, I think, as what I'm going to propose to you that I think you should do. And that is keep track of all of the changes that are going on, not only in the POV characters' sphere of what they can observe, but outside of it as well. And then constantly drop hints and allude to, and even have other characters tell them about what's going on outside of their little sphere of what they can see. Tolkien was an absolute master at this, but many of the greats are able to do this well. Frank Herbert did this, if we're going to talk about sci fantasy and Dune, and many others, many others. I think if you do this, and what I'm calling this is making an ecology. So turn your setting into an ecology. Have the changes that are going on that impact the main character expand beyond what they can normally see. It's very immersive technique, I believe. And I think if you do this, you'll really draw the reader in to your world. So that's what I've got for you today. I'm going to have more of this stuff coming up. Go over and check ericgoodwyn.com. Get on the newsletter. It's growing all the time, thankfully. And so I'll tune in next time for some more news on the series and fiction writing tips on this little segment of my channel. And of course, I've still got Mental Health Mondays and all the other great stuff coming your way soon. Catch you later.